Welcome to the CXR channel, our premier podcast for talent acquisition and talent management. Listen in as the CXR community discusses a wide range of topics focused on attracting, engaging, and retaining the best talent. We're glad you're here.
All right, welcome everybody to another Career Crossroads podcast. I am really excited. This is one of our quick recap shows. So this is just where we grab a couple of folks right out of one of our meetings, and we talk a little bit about, did we have any big takeaways, any aha moments, any OMGs, all the way through the session, and just share and chat a little bit about that. I have a few, so I am excited to jump right in. And I have with me, obviously everybody knows Jerry Crispin. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
There he goes. Okay. All right, but also have two guests that are members of ours that were in the meeting. Marlon, Hazel, introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about what you do at Mary Kay and Cigna/Express Scripts. Fill us in. Who are you?
Ladies first.
Oh, great. Thank you. Hi, Hazel Cormier with Cigna Express Scripts, recruitment director, leading recruitment for our Legacy Express Scripts organization, primarily in the clinical spaces of nursing and pharmacists, as well as non-clinical. So your sales, product, innovation type of tech talent as well.
Good stuff.
Hi, I'm Marlon Tatum. I work with Mary Kay. I'm a lead recruiter with the company, and we pretty much provide different service lines with IDD, behavioral health, and everything that falls in between that, from a HVAC tech to administrative assistant. We hire for and provide needs for the company, and we're roughly 15 different states. So I believe we're in California, we're in Texas. I'm just thinking of all the different areas you guys are in. We're in all the states that you guys live in. I believe we have services that we offer. So yeah, definitely.
So this was our first healthcare recruitment meeting of the year. And any surprising moments, any sort of big takeaways for you as a result of attending today?
Yeah, I think it was really great to see companies working together in a competitive market. It's interesting because Cigna and Express Scripts, we've always been open to working with our competitors. It's proven through our deal with Prime Therapeutics and our partnerships, even with our direct competitor, Humana. So it's one thing to work from a business standpoint with your competitors, which we've opened that up. But it's another thing to work with your competitor when it comes to talent, because I think there's still a lot of me when it comes to talent. So I was really impressed to see these organizations come together and be able to come with a program that's really for the good of Milwaukee and then good for their four organizations.
Yeah, and I'll set that stage there, Hazel. It's a great call out. So what we saw today, Advocate Aurora Health and Frodert had partnered together with several other healthcare organizations to create a nonprofit, Centers for Healthcare Careers of Southeast Wisconsin. I got it right. To come together to help solve the shortage of talent that they had. Whereas formerly their recruiting strategies consisted of recruiting from each other, they formed this collaboration, which was pretty interesting. And I agree with you. I thought quite incredible. I don't know, Marlon, how about you?
No, I definitely agree with Hazel and you as far as that their partnerships and sharing those the trends and sharing the information that we all experience. Now, whether it relates to your industry or not, because I know we all have different levels that we do recruit for and need for as far as our business structure goes. But it was definitely common practices, common information that you were aware of, and there were some new things that were mentioned that were aha moments. Like I know you had harped on the Health Career Paths Grid, which I'm waiting for you guys to share it with us so we can get a better glimpse of it, because it was hard to see size-wise. But great ideas, because you speak of career path, but you only touch on it briefly a lot of times when you're talking with a candidate. So if you actually can put that in place and present it and show them, hey, look, you can start here and actually climb to here, it gives them more of a visual aid and something to grab towards. So that was a great aha moment for me because I'm definitely looking at ways I can incorporate something similar to that, which will give that, a better display to a candidate or candidates that can possibly have them buy into the company. So yeah, it was good stuff, good partnership, good ideas, good idea sharing today. And it's always good to talk to people in the industry because we all fight the same battle. We're looking for staff and we're looking for, ways to move forward as a company. So as a group. So definitely look forward to sharing information and discussions with people like yourselves because it's engaging, it's encouraging.
Well, I tell you, if I were still a practitioner, I think walking out of this meeting, and this would be a blueprint for me to go try to fight the fight and get some sort of collaborative effort put together. I think they said they had founded it. I took some notes here. They began the work, I think she said in 2015, they really laid the groundwork for this organization. And they're now in like their second of multiple cohorts of people going through that. And it's just a really interesting program. And I think to your point, Marlon, that career path template that they, collaboratively put together is just fascinating, showing all of the roles and what the next logical progression is. Yeah. And what education levels are required to achieve each of those, I think is a pretty powerful blueprint for a healthcare career.
Yeah, I'd love to understand how they broke through the bureaucracy. I know it's taken them many years, but if I think locally about the healthcare companies, I'd love to partner with competitors in my backyard, Mercy, Ascension, Centene, BJC. I can't even get past the thought of, okay, how do we even start this? Because all 4 or 5 of us have very specific legal teams that probably like, no, don't talk to them about XYZ. And, just how did they get through that bureaucracy would be a fascinating, probably weeks of conversation there.
And that, Hazel, that it's likely that there were some key folks at a leadership level that were open to it. And at some point, the statement, I'm sure, of those leaders, as well as the TA folks, was to the lawyers who are there to, avoid any kind of risk, was your job is not to help us avoid risk. Your job is to help us do the right thing and defend what we want to do. And that starts to change the attitude of an organization to minimizing risk and hunkering down and trying to, grow that way versus, kind of an attitude that we have to have in the 21st century, which is look for the reward, look for the opportunity to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Jerry, I touched on it when we had our breakout rooms pertaining to the pandemic and what the outcome and the results will be once things start to get back to what is considered normal. How many trends and transitions and changes that we're going to take and carry over in our new day-to-day. And that's going to be a part of that board structure change as well, because what's working now, what's trending in the uptick now is going to be part of those conversations that's going to help you progress as a company into the next century. Now, either you're going to progress or you're not going to progress, and then you're going to have the effects of that. You're going to be forced to make that adjustment because there's adjustment coming. And one of the things that always hinders us, Hazel, to your point, is that working with funders, working with those insurances. And you have to work within those guidelines. And I can't wait to see what those guidelines are going to look like moving forward, because I know they're going to have to make adjustments because we're not the only ones being affected. They're being affected as well. So
it occurs to me, to Hazel's point, where can you start? Mm-hmm. And it would be interesting to hear how they did it. But somewhere in there, if I were doing it, I would start looking at the costs of each of those different organizations that they spent money on agencies and other kinds of activities to compete to steal from each other versus the opportunity to invest in collaboration. Because that cost of competing with one another and just taking from one another over and over again has to be a very high number when you add up the different organizations. So it's kind of be fascinating to me.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that the cost of not doing it was the selling point, right?
Yes.
Versus the expense of trying to put this together. Yeah. Well,
It makes too much sense, Jerry, what you say. So it wouldn't be right if it made too much sense, Jerry. We've always talked about that. Why would we spend X amount of dollars for agency staff when all we have to do is put $2 additional into our regular staff? It'll eventually balance out, but it's just too much red tape to get through, as Hazel mentioned. And you're just trying to get to those, why don't we take this step instead of that step? So I'm just hoping that, once the pandemic and things move forward, everyone comes a little bit more creative to the table.
Sure. My takeaway for really the parts that I saw was I was blown away by how many of you are investing heavily in taking responsibility for training people or reskilling people, if you will, or upskilling folks from high school, from whatever. I mean, just a lot of the efforts to do more in that area was, to me, extraordinary. I remember in the days of the dinosaurs when I was a young recruiter, there were hundreds and hundreds of hospitals that had programs that actually were 3-year programs for nurses. And over the years, they were dismantled because of the importance of having a college education, so be a bachelor's degree in nursing. Understandable. But they dismantled literally hundreds of quality programs that helped those nurses who were learning such information understand what it was like to actually work as a nurse in a hospital. And that in itself had huge value in terms of choices that nurses would make. And I see this obviously coming back, maybe not with nurses as much as with many of the allied areas that have emerged over the years. So I think that's fabulous. I'm very impressed with what I've heard today in terms of what organizations are doing that combine not just recruiting, but also the learning side of things and breaking down those silos. I've not seen that in many industries. I think it's much more evident in your industry, and it's very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, Hazel, Marlon, thank you so much for joining us for a quick recap, and loved seeing you in another meeting. And we're looking forward to seeing you in healthcare meeting number 2. And until then, online in the exchanges at cxr.works.
Thanks for listening to the CXR channel. Please subscribe to CXR on your favorite podcast resource and leave us a review while you're at it. Learn more about CXR at our website, cxr.works, facebook.com and twitter.com/careercrossroads, and on Instagram at careerxroads. We'll catch you next time.